Probably the first building element you'll want to estimate is the external walls. In this video, I'll show you how to estimate the foundations, footings and ground floor brickwork, all in a few clicks. I'll show you how to select an external wall type, how to select a specification for the walls, foundations and footings, and how to enter the dimensions. I'll also show you how to take a look at the estimate in more detail. Of course, if you have the drawing module of BuildingWorks, you can design and estimate your walls all at once. Take a look at the videos on drawing external walls if you'd rather work that way. To estimate without drawing, click on the estimate on the project details screen. Alternatively, you can click Estimate on the Project Explorer on the left of the screen. This will open the Estimate dashboard. From here, you can open all of the estimating calculators within your estimate. There aren't any estimating calculators in my estimate yet, so I'll need to add some using the Estimating tab. In this video, I'll show you how to add an estimating calculator for brick and block cavity walls. Click the External Wall button and select a wall type from the drop-down menu. I'm going to select the brick and block cavity wall type. The Wall Component Builder pops up. From here, you can choose the specification and configuration of your external wall and enter its dimensions. You can resize the window if you want by holding your cursor over the edge of the window until a double-headed arrow appears. Then you can press and hold down the left mouse button to drag the edge of the window. It's a good idea to make the window larger, as you'll then avoid having to scroll down the window to check and enter dimensions later on. The first screen of the Wall Component Builder prompts you to select a specification for the wall. BuildingWorks provides a list of specifications with a range of thermal performances, costs and thicknesses. By clicking the column headers, you can order the list by U-value, wall thickness or rate to help you select the most appropriate specification. If you want to review and edit any of the specifications, you can do so by selecting the specification and clicking the Review Specification button. You can swap or edit a rate or resource, or delete any rates or resources you don't need. You can also add items to the specification. Click back to return to the specification picker. Once you've chosen your wall specification, click Next. The next screen prompts you to select a configuration. You may want to estimate your ground floor walls and first floor walls in one go, in which case you can select the multi-storey wall with foundations option. In this example, the length of the ground floor and first floor are different, as the design features a ground floor projection, so I'm going to estimate the ground floor and first floor separately. Note that the upper floor configuration doesn't include foundations and footings. I'm going to select the ground floor option, and then click Next. The next screen prompts you to select a specification for the foundations. As with the wall, you can review and edit a foundation specification by clicking on the specification and clicking the Review Specification button. Once you're happy with the foundation specification, click Next. Now we can check and edit the foundation dimensions. The dimension in the excavation depth below site strip input box is highlighted in grey, indicating that you can type over the existing dimension. If you want to change the dimension, simply type the new dimension using your keyboard. I'm going to keep it at 900mm for now. All dimensions are entered into the component builder in millimetres by default. If you'd rather work in metres, take a look at the video on how to change the units in BuildingWorks. To move to the next input box, press the Tab key on your keyboard. The cursor jumps to the next input box, where you can edit the dimension as before. Press the Tab key again. Using the Tab key is the quickest way of moving between the input boxes. You'll notice that as you click into each input box, a corresponding dimension arrow appears on the drawing. If at any time you need to go back and change anything, you can click back through the screens using the Back button. Assuming you're happy with the foundation dimensions, click Next. This screen prompts you to select a specification for the footings. Of course, you can review and edit a footing specification by clicking on the specification and clicking the Review Specification button. If you're happy with the specification out of the box, click Next. This next screen prompts you to select a footing configuration. Of course, it's crucial that you ensure your selected foundation and footing are compatible in terms of construction and dimensions. Select shallow strip or trench fill as required, and then click Next. Now we can review the footing dimensions. Using the Tab key, work your way around the dimension input boxes, making any changes as needed. If the overall height of the inner and outer leaves are not equal, a red warning message appears so that you can quickly correct any mistakes. Another message helps you ensure that the height of your DPC is correct. Once you're confident that the footing dimensions are correct, click Next. The next screen is all about the wall dimensions. Click into the Height of Unfinished Wall input box. The tech tip at the top of the window explains what dimension you need to enter. Each input box has its own tech tip, and they're a helpful point of reference if you come across any dimensions you're unsure of. In this example, the tech tip explains that we need to enter the height of floor zone at the top of the wall, which doesn't require plastering and decoration. I'm going to enter 225mm. Press the Tab key to move into the length of wall input box. You can estimate each wall individually, or you can enter the total perimeter of your building in one go. For speed, I'm going to enter the total perimeter, which is 42,700mm. BuildingWorks will deduct the area of any openings when you later add doors and windows to the wall. The easiest way of entering a wall height is to select an option from the drop-down box. You can also type a height into the drop-down box. Once the wall dimensions are complete, click Next. The final screen gives you the opportunity to add any sundry items for the length of wall you're estimating. You're more likely to need these items if the wall you're building is part of an extension or renovation project. To add sundry items to your wall, click on the Rate Quantity input boxes and type the number or length required. I'm going to leave that at 0 for now though. For now, click Finish to view the estimate. BuildingWorks now opens the brick and block cavity wall component in the Dimensions and Linked Components tab. Here you can check and edit the dimensions of your wall. You can also see any components which are linked to this wall. In the case of a ground floor wall, the footings and foundations. When you add doors and windows to this wall, you'll also be able to see them here. You can open any of the linked components by clicking on its Open button. Towards the top of the Estimating Calculator window, under the ribbon, you'll notice that there are 3 different tabs. Click on the Dimension Link Specified Items tab. Here at the top of the screen, you can see the total cost of the wall component you just estimated. As you look down the screen, you find a breakdown of all the specified rates and assemblies which are linked to the dimensions you've entered. An assembly is a collection of rates which form a complete construction. They're all linked to the same dimension. So looking at the brick and block full fill cavity wall assembly description, you can see that the wall assembly includes brickwork, blockwork, insulation, cavity ties, plastering and decoration. All of these items are linked to the wall area dimension. So BuildingWorks gives you a rate per square metre for this assembly, alongside the total cost of the assembly. The skirting board assembly, on the other hand, is linked to the wall length, so BuildingWorks gives you a rate per metre. Click on the arrow next to the brick and block wall assembly. Now you can see each of the rates which make up this assembly. There's a rate, or in other words, cost per square metre, for each complete distinct task, such as laying the brickwork or fixing the insulation. Each rate includes the cost of labour, plant and materials. From here you can see the rate quantity and the cost per unit for each rate. If you click on a plus button next to a rate, you can look at the rate in more detail. For example, the brickwork rate comprises bricks, mortar and labour to lay the bricks. Now click on the Sundry Specified Items tab. Here you can review and change the quantities of additional sundry items. These items aren't linked to the dimensions you've entered for the wall. So now it's over to you. Have a go at estimating your external walls. Go to the Estimating tab within your estimate, click the External Wall button and select a wall type. Work your way through the Wall Component Builder, selecting specifications and configurations and entering dimensions for the foundations, footings and wall. Add any sundry items you need on the final screen. Once complete, take a few minutes to explore the component you've estimated. Take a good look at the Dimension Link Specified Items tab. Click the arrow next to each assembly and the plus sign next to each rate to see the breakdown of all the materials, labour and plant that BuildingWorks has estimated for your wall.